Ay, caramba!
Trails of Cold Rave. Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called Blue Destination from The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2 original soundtrack. That was a mouthful indeed. This is one of the coffee personal requests that I had scheduled for this month. And this one comes from Unleashed SM, and the comment says, "Hi again. I wasn't going to request anything this month because I honestly didn't really know what to request. But I have decided. Can you do a breakdown of Blue Destination from The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2? Of course, Unleashed, thank you very much again for another request and your incredible continuous support, alright? Of course I can do another one. This is actually the fourth, I believe, song that I have covered from the Legend of Heroes franchise. I have covered Spiral of Erebos, A Silver Will, and on Phantom Force. So this will be the fourth track that I cover from the Legend of Heroes so far. But first I would like to invite you to check my newest merch, which was inspired by BERSERK and Dark Souls, and if you make a purchase you have a chance to be featured on the channel. The only thing you have to do is take a picture with the merch and send it to the contact email that is in the description of this video, and I will put you in the intro of one of my videos. And also please check my newest track, which is also a BERSERK inspired track called Conceived in Blood, which is the song that you have been listening in the intro of this video so far. So if you enjoyed it, I'm gonna leave the full track in this card, but also I'm gonna leave the link in the description of this video, right? So with that being said, onward. Alright, so we have Blue Destination from Trails of Cold Part 2. And boom! Okay, I really like it. Oh! Trails of Cold Rave. Oh my god. The synthesizer pattern is insanely good. Killing it. The piano with the strings in unison. This is great. I just want to dance. That was a really cool chord progression. This is so good. Wow. And there we have it, right? Yeah. Ooh. No. I just wanted to go to a dance floor and bang this out. It was incredibly good. I mean, and it was quite a surprise, to be honest, because it as far as I remember, the other tracks that I've covered from The Legend of Heroes are very different from this. But hey, I was surprised and a very welcomed one, alright? I'm going to be talking very much about the synthetic elements that there is in the song, because I think the song is about 20%, 80% synthetic, 20% organic. But I'm certainly going to be talking more in depth about the synthetic elements of a track, because, well, first of all, it encompasses the most of a song, but at the same time, it gave me some member berries, like they say in the South Park, that South Park episode. But anyways, I would just stop. Let's break it down. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I would like to talk about, of course, in this breakdown. But I'm going to talk about very much about general characteristics that the track has. Maybe I'm going to do a little bit of a memory trip to the memory lane, and to be able to explain some of the things that I want to say about the track in general. And then I will talk about more specific things that have to do very specifically about the synthesizer and the nature of the song by being an electronic track and so on and so forth. So let's start with general things, okay? Maybe I could start with the trip to the memory lane, alright? This track has an incredible vibe to the early to mid 2000s electronic, very popular electronic music. I'm talking about artists like Armin van Buuren or Tiesto, okay? Because the track, to me, other than being just an electronic song, you know, it's has a lot of the quintessential elements of what trance, our progressive trance, has. Now, I wouldn't say it's necessarily progressive trance because the track is short. I mean, it's meant to loop because, well, it's part of a video game that comes with the territory, I would say. But at the same time, it has, like, this could be a progressive trance track, but other than that, it has like the trance elements all over it, and some of those are basically like the stepped arpeggiated synthesizers that are in it, the very straightforward drum pattern that you hear, along with the very simple but also straightforward bass lines, and you know, the very lush and beautiful chord progressions that go along with the melody in the piano, but also in the strings that we hear. Those are so much part of the mythos, let's say, of trance electronic music. They were nowadays you would know this kind of tracks as EDM. People refer to this kind of tracks as EDM, but EDM for me is like a very general term. You know, it stands for electronic dance music, and that could be like house, like synth pop, like trance, you know, and so on and so forth. Aerobeat, you know, there's countless genres that you can think as electronic dance music. But if I were to put it in more modern terms of how people recognize this kind of songs, I would say, yeah, it's like an EDM song. But in all honesty, more objectively, I would say it's a trance song. Now, one of the most telling things that are in this track that are very much inspired by that whole scene, you know, and that doesn't even come from the early 2000s. That goes even to the 90s, right? It's the piano motif that there is in the track, or leitmotif in this case, I would say, because there's like, you have no idea, or well, maybe you do. Why would I assume you don't? But there's a lot of electronic music that were like top hits, you know, that have a piano motif, or a piano melody, or a piano main melody, you know. A very famous one I can tell you about is the Blue from Eiffel 65, right? Super famous song, very old, but still very, very, very famous. You know, Saturday Night by Wakefield, and all these tracks are from the 90s, so it has kind of a back catalog already, right? Another Night from Real McCoy, Children from Robert Miles, What Is Love from Hathaway, which was like a meme before memes were memes, let's say. It was first a meme in TV and so on and so forth, and movies, and then it faded away a little bit. But I mean, it's still a meme, I think, but it's not a meme as it used to be, let's say. But I digress. Very much specifically, Children by Robert Miles. I will recommend you to listen to that track, because that track, it was like a landmark, along with Blue from Eiffel 65, to really establish the piano melody as the quintessential building block of this greatest of the greatest songs of all time, or at least in electronic music, right? So that is absolutely translated in this song, in Blue Blue Destination. Now that I have talked about the general things that I think about the song, let's talk about the more specific things that I hear in the track. There's something very specific that happens in the synthesizers of the song, which is that I hear that the synthesizers have a stepper and an arpeggiator on it. So to explain what that is all about, you can hear that the synthesizer has like this segmentation in the sound, right? Sounds like or something along those lines. So that rhythmic pattern is some of the things that you're able to do within from within the synthesizer, right? It's not like you have like the sound wave of the synthesizer and then you have to post. You have to do the rhythmic pattern in post-production, although you could do that, but that would be a pain in the ass. It's just way easier to do it this way. On the stepper, with the stepper, you can do those really cool rhythmic patterns in the synthesizers. And the other thing that is also within that you are able to do within the synthesizer is arpeggiate the chords, the chord progressions in the song. So that's why you hear that rhythmic pattern, right? Like or something along those lines. And the arpeggiator, what it does is it takes the chord and it breaks it down and plays individual notes of the chord, so it sounds like an arpeggio. So that's why you get the sense of the song having this super lush, super big, evolving also sound, because the stepper is giving you the rhythmic pattern, you know, which goes incredibly well with the very straightforward drum pattern that we hear in the drums. But we have the evolving, more lush, more beautiful arrangement in the arpeggiator, which takes the chords in the chord progression and breaks each note down, each individual note, and place those notes in a specific pattern that you can program within the arpeggiator. So that's another one of the most quintessential arrangements, but of course this is going more under the hood, let's say, on how it is achieved of EDM, but I would say more specifically about trance music. So yeah, one final thing that I would like to mention, another reference on top of the other 4 or 5 songs that I already talked about, in case you want to, dig a little bit into the story of where this comes from. There's a song called "The Never Ending Story" by Limahl. This is an 80s song, and it actually was featured in one Stranger Things episode, you know, that Netflix series, apologies. And it came from a German movie from the 80s. It was the theme song for that movie, and you can hear what an arpeggiator does very clearly in that song, because the song is more stripped down, you know. Since this is a trance song, this is a lot of building blocks, let's say. Apologies. And there's a lot of things happening, you know. So it becomes like a little bit of a wall of sound. But in The Never Ending Story by Limahl, is more tamed and more stripped down, and you can actually hear more clearly what an arpeggiator does in a synthesizer. So I would recommend you check that out just as a reference in case you want to know about that. Finally, I would like to say that this was an incredibly enjoyable song. I just wanted to dance, like stand up from my chair and dance to the song, because, of course, being an electronic song and having this trance, vibe all over it, is very much adept to the dance floor. But of course, this is different. This is for a video game. And thinking about Blue Destination, it does have like a cloudy, let's fly into to somewhere kind of atmosphere to it. If by blue destination it means the sky, then the song translated that very well, because that's how the feeling of the song is. It's like you feel like you're flying in the clouds or something like that. So if that's the case, really good job by the composer, I gotta say. So I think I'm gonna give this track a golden badge. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.